Ngena. Sawubona.
Sawubona.
Unjani?
Ngiyaphila. Wena unjani?
Ngiyaphila. Hlala phansi.
Ngiyabonga.
Ufunani?
Ngifuna amanzi.
Cha, awekho amanzi. Ufuna ijuice?
Angifuna ijuice.
Ufuna icoke?
Angifuna icoke.
Ufuna ikhekhe?
Angifuna ikhekhe.
Ufuna icookie?
Yebo, ngifuna icookie. Ngiyabonga.
Now, let's go over some important words that you've heard from that conversation. There was a word that was used many times there, funa, which means want. There was a word ngena, which means come in. There was a word amanzi, which means water. I want to go back to talk a little bit about that word funa, because it was used positively and negatively. It is also important to remember that in Zulu, the verb does not go alone. So the word funa has some other parts that are attached to it in order to make a statement. For example, in a conversation, it says, ngifuna. Ngi, which means I, and then funa, which means want, and then it becomes a statement, I want. You've also had in a conversation where the word funa was used negatively, angifuni. To change a positive word in Zulu and make it a negative, there are two things that you have to consider. First, you have to change or add the word a in the beginning of a verb. That means not. And then you have to add or change the vowel at the end of the verb. Put an I. For example, in a word ngifuna, which means I want, we added a, it became a, ngifuni, and then we changed the last vowel a, at the end we suffix I, and it became angifuni. That is a negative. So the negative in Zulu is very easy. You add an a in the beginning of a verb and change the last vowel of the verb, put an I, that is a negative. It is also important to talk a little bit about how that conversation teaches us about some cultural aspect in a Zulu house. Zulu people, just like other cultures, when somebody visit or come to their house, they try to please them. As a result, you had in that conversation, a man has been asking the lady, do you want this? You want this? He was trying many other things to make sure that that woman was happy in that house. It happens in many ways, and in other lessons we'll go into details in how this kind of treatment of a visitor happens in somebody's house. Thank you for listening. Ngiyabonga. Salamahle.